Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm doing something a little different. I normally don't do these types of like news or like new release stuff videos, but this one had me a little intrigued because the X100V is currently my favorite digital camera and I have a lot of experience using it. This one intrigued me, so I wanted to kind of make a video on the next upcoming X100VI. I believe that is the official name that's going to be coming out, and I kind of just wanted to give my thoughts and kind of like the rumors that I heard about it. So before we begin, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. I'm a photographer based in Houston, Texas, and I kind of do all sorts of like videos regarding digital or film photography. And again, I will say that I don't normally do these type of like review or like newsworthy videos, so I do want to just be upfront about that. But again, this one had me interested about the upcoming one, so I just kind of wanted to share with you guys my thoughts on it. So I guess the first major news that I heard about the X100VI that's supposed to drop, I don't really know the release date yet, but if I do hear about it, I will put it right here. And if I don't, then I just don't know the date yet. But the two biggest news that I've heard is that it's going to be 40 megapixels. So obviously just an upgrade in quality, and it's going to have IBIS image stabilization. And the first thing that comes to mind when I hear the 40 megapixels is, on paper, yes, it sounds great, but the X100V already had 26 megapixels, and I don't think for this camera or what it's really used for, again, for the average person who's buying this line of camera, I don't think that's really gonna like entice anyone. And the only thing that I imagine will happen is like you need more storage for the photos. It's potentially like transferring photos will just take longer. So again, I know like spec wise, yes, 40 is better than 26. We all know that. I'm not saying like anything crazy, but I just think for this, like the person who's buying this camera, that's not really gonna sell this. So I just wonder how like that's going to be. The 40 megapixels, yes, it looks great on paper. I also wanted to speak on the IBIS, the image stabilization that this new camera is supposed to have. Now obviously IBIS, it just helps with image stabilization, mostly for low light situations where it's needed, like so you don't really, the shake doesn't really affect the image that much. And I've actually had a lot of night shooting or low light experience with the X100V. And for those of you who don't know, I actually have a night diary series that I have on my channel. So if you haven't checked those out, feel free to. And in about 90% of those videos, I actually carry the X100V. So you can actually go and look at the night and the low light photos that I take. And I will say, I've never shot on a tripod in any of those photos. They're all handheld. And I think I even shot a lot of them at like a shutter speed of like 1/15. They were all handheld, and the X100V doesn't have IBIS. So take a look at those images for yourself and just let me know. Like, I feel like IBIS isn't like necessary. Again, I don't want to like be a Debbie Downer or anything, but I can only think of like a downside to adding it in this camera specifically. I'm not saying IBIS in general is a bad thing, obviously, but I'm saying for this camera, I feel like the plus of like a X100V or just this X100 series that Fuji has is just the portability and the lightweight size of it. I hope that they're not going to sacrifice size to add IBIS, which again, I feel like is not necessary in this camera. But I can only help but think that the size will be a little compromised. It might be 10% bigger because they're adding it. But again, I don't know. These are just rumors. So I'm just saying, when I hear IBIS, I just think that the Camry might potentially be bigger. Now, I think all of this doesn't really matter too much until we know the price. And I say that because the X100V was about $1,400, I believe. And that's not anything cheap, you know, that's good money. But I think if this sacrifices price, and I don't know how much this camera will be, I'm thinking about $1,500. I'm hearing people say it might be like 1800, but I don't know. I don't think that'll be the case, only because that goes into like the XT5 range now, and I don't know if they want to cannibalize that. But I also understand that that doesn't necessarily mean that it'll kill a camera, or just because a price is higher for a lower spec camera. I understand that people will pay more for a camera that meets their certain needs, not just because the specs are always better. So I understand that it could be a higher price than an XT5, but I wanted to say price is the most important thing here, because if you're just getting 40 megapixels and IBIS as the main seller of the new camera, and it's like $300 more, to me that's not a selling point. Like X100V at $1,400, although nowadays, again, I'm speaking from if the X100V was readily available. I understand that the aftermarket prices are crazy right now, so I also understand that it's hard to get it at that price. But as the MSRP of $1,400 for an X100V, is it worth like $200-300 more for more megapixels? I'm not sure. Again, I wish I had solid details regarding size of it, the price and all that. I don't know. I'm kind of just weighing these things, but it's just asking myself, like, would the average person who's looking at this camera, which is best at like street photography, just on the go, just like it kind of serves as like your phone camera almost in a way. It's just like, it's so easy to bring with you. It's pretty discreet because the size and all that, and it's just the image you get is amazing. So all that ties in together. So are people willing to like sacrifice like 10% of a bigger camera for the IBIS, the 40 megapixels, and a higher price? Yeah, it's just, we have to find out, right? So I'm kind of just asking rhetorically. But as someone who's used the X100V for a little over 3 years now, I think, again, if IBIS doesn't make the camera bigger, yes, IBIS would be great. And again, I guess it depends how much of a jump in price that would be. But for me, I think after using this camera for so long, the only like thing I would want Fujifilm to make on this camera is a slightly make it more like ergonomically friendly. Again, without adding too much size. I don't know where they would do that. I understand it's not the most ergonomically like friendly because they want to keep that size, so I'm not naive to that. But just engineering wise, whatever they can to just make it more like, just a little bit more like, I'm not always going to drop this camera because of the grip factor. I think that's where they can do a better job. But I understand that every time they release a new camera, specs do have to be better, and I think they should be, but without sacrificing too much of what the average person buying that line has to sacrifice. So again, these are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think. What do you think they should add? Do you think the 40 megapixel is necessary in a camera like this? I don't know. It comes down to what all the final decisions will be. But again, let me know your thoughts. Again, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and please like the video, give this video a thumbs up and share it with your friends, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.